and this first startup will be Qviro.com. So, Qviro.com is the largest and most trusted Industry 4.0 marketplace. It's a marketplace helping industrial users make confident decisions based on authentic peer reviews. Gentlemen.
Morning.
Good morning.
You're shining.
Thank you.
And that's good because it's all about people today. They've been reading everything that you've been sending. They've been reading the presentations. They've been reading the business plans. Now it's about people, and you shine, which is good.
Thank you.
All right, all right. You have a beautiful stage. We have a strong jury. So the rules are like this. You will have 10 minutes of presentation. We will have a countdown, and I'll help you with this. 10 minutes presenting. After the presenting, there will be a Q&A session, questions and answers, for about 20 minutes, max. And after that one, we will ask the big question, like who of them is interested to continue talking to you? That's the main important thing, all right?
Awesome.
We're all warm, it's a beautiful setting. I would say, hit it, guys. Come on, there we go.
Okay. Dear members of the jury, I would like to ask you a question to start off. If you have ever used a review to select a restaurant, a mobile phone, or a hotel room, please raise your hand. I see all of you. Well, 9 out of 10 people use reviews before they make a purchase. But in our industry, reviews didn't exist, which is why... Where do I see my slides?
Could we have this? They'd like to continue, of course. So please, activate the slides. There we go, Qviro.
Yeah. Okay, so what is our industry? Well, we operate in the industry of smart manufacturing, also called Industry 4.0. So our platform, Qviro.com, is the biggest online marketplace for industrial technology, where industrial users can make confident decisions based on peer reviews. So I would like to start by introducing our team. Both Jorg and I have very much experience in the industry. Combined, we have visited 150 production plants in 20 countries. And last year, we organized the biggest online industrial fair for the Benelux, where we had paying customers like Siemens. Of course, we don't have expertise in every field, which is why we use technical experts to guide us with the development of the platform, with legal expertise, with content writing, and so on. And we also have some very good partners in our industry, like Agoria and Vlerick Business School. To continue, I would like to discuss and take you in the head of the buyers and the sellers of our two-sided marketplace. On the one hand, you have the buyers, which are engineers or purchasing managers in manufacturing plants like Volvo Trucks or Toyota, Pfizer, and so on. Engineers who have a production line that needs to move, but every week they have a new challenge of improving and they need better technology. But for them, it's hard to see these fancy technologies and to know how they can implement them in their factory line. It's also difficult to compare all brands on the market, and it takes often a few months before you can get a price indication of the solution you will get. On the other side, you have the sellers of technology, and they also struggle. On one hand, they struggle because they need to create brand trust for their products. It's hard for them to find leads, and it's hard for them to get honest feedback from their product users. And trust us, both Jorg and I, we have faced both of these struggles, both selling and buying, which is why we launched this platform. And normally on the, okay, the slides are here. So this is what the website looks like. Every month, thousands of visitors from all around the world already use Qviro.com. They filter on their application, find all brands to compare, get an instant price indication, and they can read reviews and also compare the technologies to one another. So it's one place where an engineer starts his journey to make a short list of, let's say, 3 solutions that he wants to proceed. Do we have competitors? Yes, of course we have competitors. On one hand, we have these big websites like Direct Industry, where you have a lot of companies being listed or a lot of products, but they don't give value. They don't help you in making a decision which one is better than the other one. And then we also have some expert platforms where we see that it's often robotics experts who talk from their own expertise, which is not so scalable because they can't scale to other areas. And we try to be the leader because we are scalable because we use the expertise of the crowd, and we also want to go to all categories. Now, Joch will explain to you how we go to the market.
So how do we stay ahead of our competitors? And we do this with our growth strategy, and we focus on 3 pillars. The first pillar is focused on the content that is available on our platform. And that content will grow to up to 100 product categories. At the moment, we have 4 of them online, all based in the field of robotics. The second pillar is focusing on our users of the platform. These are the potential buyers. And we reach a global audience by organic reach and targeted digital marketing. And thirdly, we of course need the suppliers of those technologies, and these are the sellers or manufacturers. And as we list them already all on our platform, we have a very detailed view on who are our potential customers, so we can target them very easily, and we also can attract them by giving some bait, some data insights, or some leads that we already generated by our platform. And how do we make money? To make clear for all of you, we don't sell hardware, we don't sell robots, but what we do is the users can use our platform for free because the suppliers pay for it. But we list all suppliers globally on our platform. We do that for free, but they pay for us for additional services. And what are those additional services? First of all, what we do is we generate brand trust for them. So together with them, we generate reviews that can result in, let's say, industry awards and so on. Secondly, we generate a lot of data, and a lot of those users on our platform, these are highly qualified leads because they are in their purchasing journey, so they want to buy a new robot or want to buy a new smart machine. And we generate those direct and indirect leads, and of course, we sell them to those suppliers. And thirdly, because we have that amount of data, we have a lot of intelligence of the market globally. And that intelligence, based on those reviews and those visitor data points, we generate in industry reports that can generate a lot of interesting insights. Last summer, we started selling our 3 solutions, and initially we thought, okay, these are big industrial players, a sales cycle will take about 6 months. But already now, we already have signed up some very big names. For example, ABB, it's a big multi-dollar company that already signed up for our services. And also, for example, the South Korean Dosan. And also in the upcoming weeks, we will sign up companies from Canada, Denmark, Taiwan, that will start using our services from the beginning of next year. And this is necessary because we need to grow fast. At this point, we already showed a lot of traction. We have signed customers, but for us, it's now very important to stay top of mind. And we want to reach those 100 categories within the 5 years. And that's why we also will triple the amount of categories in the upcoming year. And it's a huge opportunity because if you look to, let's say, a different industry, for example, the one of B2B software, you see several players with the more or less same business model already in the field. You have, for example, Capterra. They are acquired by Gartner. You have G2.com. It's, I think they are evaluated at about $1 billion. And of course, our segment, the world of Industry 4.0, is slightly smaller, but still the opportunity is huge. So dFund, are you ready to join our adventure in the fantastic world of Industry 4.0? Always welcome. Thank you.
This is so strong. This is so good, guys. You're a team. You're a team. And this was a good 10 minutes, so thank you. It was interesting to me.
Thank you.
But I'm not part of the jury. So, jury members, and first, Thierry and Wim, you can orchestrate this one. Do you think there are any questions? Because we're going to start a Q&A session now of 20 minutes. Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'll keep my questions for later. I'd prefer to have the jury members first launch their questions. So I'll first ask the people who are physically present here. Anybody who's willing to bite the first bullet? Go ahead, Mathilde.
Thank you for your presentation. First question, obviously, machines are key in the success of a production flow, the logistic processes.
Could we, I'm sorry, can we get closer or, no? Okay.
Raise the volume, yeah.
I'll try to speak up as well.
No,
Okay,
yes.
Okay. Obviously, machines are key in the production process, the logistic process. Why would, let's say, a company in the automotive, like Ford, will disclose which machine is really effective in their logistic process, and knowing that Volkswagen is going to see that? What would be their interest to review a machine that they are using, and knowing that competition will know that they're using that and that it's really effective?
Sven, can you maybe explain?
Yes. You are talking about the review captation, I assume. We have made this question to ourselves. Will we ask the end users like Ford to write the reviews, or will we ask integrators? Because in our industry, it's quite common that you also have an integrating party who is doing the implementations. And these people are also the one with the most programming experience. So we ask these integrators to write the reviews. Still, the companies like Ford, even though it's most of the time a technical review, they get the brand trust based on these reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. That answers your question? Yeah. Michel?
Thank you for your presentation. First, a short question and then a large one. When you mentioned something about having 4 out of 100 categories, can you explain exactly what you meant by that? It sounded like you are missing something big, but maybe I misunderstood. That's my first question. And the second one is, I'm not familiar with the industrial world, buyers, sellers, etc., but I have the feeling that the procurement officers in large companies, such as the one you mentioned, they value the personal relationship with their suppliers. They need to go on site, they need to check the machinery, they need to do a lot of comparative analysis. And so my main question is, how comfortable do you think they would be to do this interaction via a platform like this and losing this one-to-one relationship? Because we are talking about big ticket items, long-term investments, capex, etc.
Thank you for those good questions. To answer them, so if you talk about industrial automation or Industry 4.0, that's of course a very big market. It can go from 3D printing machines to smart machines to Internet of Things gateways. And we decided to focus ourselves also with the limited resources we have on specific categories. So instead of going directly to the full Industry 4.0 market, we focus on some sub-product categories. In our case, it's all related with robotics, so collaborative robots, SCARA robots, all very specific niches. But these will enable us, and we already are doing it, that they validate our business model, that we see traction, and then now we will expand those product categories so we can have the whole Industry 4.0 market. To give you also an example, ABB is a customer in one of those categories, but they of course have a lot of products that they also can be a customer in new segments the upcoming years. And what about the relationship, indeed, of the suppliers? I think the relationship is still very important, but there's also a very rapid development of new technologies. So also for companies like Volvo Trucks, for example, it's for them very key that they still discover new technologies, new suppliers, so they also can be very on track with their technology sourcing, and they also can challenge their existing suppliers to indeed reduce prices or to improve the service, for example.
I would like to use an example. A restaurant owner also has a personal connection with someone who comes to eat. Same for our industry. We don't take that away. We just increase the odds that you find a supplier who is trustworthy, and later on we leave the deal closing and the product development and so on to them.
All right. Joël, you had a question? Sorry. No, go ahead.
From a revenue perspective, I always prefer a company to be not on the cost side of their customers, so that you're not a cost to them. So in your case, an opportunity would be that there is some segments in robotics where factories really like to order directly themselves. Is that something you gave a thought? Because that could move you, you know, where 20 years ago people would really value the relationship of the lady in the travel agency telling them which travel to book. And now everybody is booking this online because the tools are so good, they know more than this representative at the agency. Is there an area in your industry that you could pick up like that and then grow there with direct sales? Or maybe even being the reseller and make the connection and then take your revenue from that?
It's a very good question, and it's also a question that we already discussed a lot in the past. But we actually made a very clear decision that we want to be a neutral party. And the reason is also we have a lot of experience with buying and selling those technologies. And a robot arm is not a standalone off-the-shelf product. It needs to be integrated in a solution with vision cameras and so on. And this is often done by integrators in a complex installation. So that requires a lot of engineering, requires a lot of analysis. So you will never buy a robot with your credit card.
Yeah.
But never say never. Maybe in the future we will decide to also maybe off-the-shelf products we can offer them. But now our focus is really clear to just be the connector of buyers and sellers.
All right. Erik?
Yes, thank you, Sven and Jor, for a strong pitch. Maybe two clarifying questions. First one to build on Joël's point. You seem to be focusing on equipment, on the hardware piece of things, whereas the IT and the OT world are kind of blending. And to your earlier point, the value, I think, is created when equipment is integrated, for example, in a production flow. So have you considered expanding into IoT, cloud platforms, a software world, basically that connects that equipment in a smart factory setting?
Good question, Sven.
Yeah. One of our key things to decide which categories are most relevant is, of course, the complexity, and which is why we choose products who have both the hardware and the software component. But anything related to MES, ERP, IoT, and so on is also on our roadmap. At the moment, we try to stay away from the things that are already on these platforms like G2 Capterra, the ones which are more common softwares, not too much related to the industry world. There we try to stay away from. But IoT platforms are a perfect example of what will be in the future on the platform.
Maybe a slightly different question. To what extent is the marketplace technology that you're building, and you spoke about CEO, for example, generate demand, etc. But to what extent is that marketplace platform unique with I don't know, smart matching, a specific lead flow technology, and would it be applicable to other industries, for example, as well?
I hope I understood the question well. We are the only review platform in our industry. let's make that very clear. At the moment, we have never seen reviews anywhere else. So that's where we try to position us as sourcing the knowledge of the crowd to the people. And we try to focus on this first, before maybe later on we will do a more intensified matchmaking with smart software. But at the moment, we try to focus on providing the intelligence of the crowd.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, let's see if this digital thing works. So let me hand it over to the jury members on the other side of the video, the connection. Anybody who's curious or has another question? Frank was first. Yeah.
Does this work?
This works.
Perfect. So first of all, gentlemen, thank you for your presentation. It seems clear to me that you have extensive end-user knowledge, which is a big benefit in starting an initiative like this. My first question is basically a closed one. I'm wondering, are you a software company or a data company? That's the first. And secondly, it's also starting with a statement and then combined with a question. This proposition seems to me like having winner-takes-all characteristics. What, in your opinion, are the consequences of this? So, for instance, if I look at G2, the company with whom you compare your startup with, they have raised over multiple rounds a little bit above 250 million. So, is that also your long-term view?
Thank you for those questions. To answer them, your first question, in our opinion, we are more a data company than a software company. Software is not our differentiator. I think it will also answer a little bit the question that we just had before. So we are really focusing on the data and the data quality that we gather. Secondly, indeed, and I think also one of the last slides we mentioned it, for us it's really important that we now grow fast. We show traction, but now it's important that we indeed capture the market and grow very fast so that we are in top of mind if an engineer starts his automation journey. That he thinks, okay, I need to go to Qviro.com and I will find the technology that I need. So indeed, yeah.
Yeah, and we have a sticky business model, which means that if ABB collects reviews and once they have 200, 300 reviews, they won't see the advantages of moving to another review platform later, which is why we have to focus on bringing in as many reviews as possible to capture these companies in.
Okay. Jürgen, you also had a question?
Thanks for the presentation. I had a question on the MRR and the business model. You mentioned in 22 some MRR, so just if you could explain what kind of model you're using. Is that a kind of subscription model? Yes, but for what? So if I subscribe, what do I get in return?
Yeah.
And then based on that, you mentioned data as being an important facet. But if I would be like working in a purchase department of a large company, technically, if I do my job well and I have to buy stuff, I always have peers that I can go to, and a lot of these large companies even have these kind of models inside the company where they know that, okay, in another place in the world, they've also used this technology. So within the company, because they're global companies by definition, I can just ask other departments what their view is. So how does that compete with what you guys want? So why would I go to you if I can get it somewhere else, basically?
Okay, thank you for those questions. To answer your first question, yeah, our business model is based actually on a subscription model. So we have the 3 solutions that we just showed you, and they are starting from 10,000 euros per year. And for that amount, you get all leads or all data that we collect in one of those solutions. So on average, companies pay us between 10,000 and 40,000 euros per year per category. So if ABB wants to join also in other categories, they again need to pay for that data. Okay, that's how it's built. To answer your second question, and this is also based on our own experience, we noticed that sharing best practices in big organizations is really difficult. You mentioned, okay, maybe there's a colleague who had a good experience with a certain technology, but we noticed it's for many engineers, a lot of plant managers, production managers, much easier just to open your smartphone, type something in Google, and find an answer over there. And we want to be there, on their smartphone, on their laptop, when they are searching for inspiration, when they're searching for new technologies.
Yeah, and we always talk about big companies like Volvo Trucks, Tesla, and so on, but we do that because these are companies you know. But we have a very strong focus also on SME companies, because even though you know the companies Volvo Trucks way better, there are a ton of SME companies, production sites with 100 to 200 people, and they don't have a specialist in every field. So these people go to the internet, they don't have the time to travel to Munich to visit a virtual fair, to visit an industrial fair. They do the research online like they do in their daily lives.
All right. Just for the sake of time, I know the other two people also have a question. So Mark, and then Jeroen. Let's take Mark first. Yeah.
Again, thank you for the presentation. Maybe I'd just like to understand the market dynamic. When we're speaking to manufacturing customers in this space, what they're trying to do is digitize their sales process. And they're trying to do this in three ways. One often is through CPQ, configure price quotes, right? The reason why it's difficult to get accurate pricing information is that the pricing is often bespoke based on the product that's being created. Where these customers actually make a lot of their money is actually in the after sales. So actually going from CPQ, building a relationship, and then delivering after sales through the same platform is often key. And then in between is the commerce element, right? And so, you know, for this to be successful, you probably need to link into commerce platforms or other marketplaces that are on there. So how do you see that vision, and how do you make sure that you become an integral part of that CPQ through commerce to after sales process?
Sven, maybe you can elaborate a little bit also on the integrations with CRM systems.
Well, you mentioned a few things that these companies are missing. Of course, we have to focus. We cannot solve everything, so that means we don't focus on after sales. We focus on the brand trust and the comparison between brands. That's also to put our focus on something. And I don't know what to, yeah.
Yeah, about the digitalization of the sales process, it's really key that we indeed enable our customers to do efficient sales. And that's why we also worked quite a lot last couple of months about the seamless integration of our data into the CRM systems, for example, of ABB. So they indeed have a continuous flow, and that the data stays digitally over there, and that they have all those data points in their systems. Okay.
One concluding question from Jeroen, who's based in Eindhoven, which has a strong high-tech base in this domain. So go ahead.
First of all, thanks a lot from my side as well. And yes, I can see the challenge here with all these technical companies around me. One question that keeps popping up in my mind is that converting from a freemium model to a paid model is often difficult. So when I was reading the decks and when I heard your presentation, I was wondering who is already converting or signing up for the SaaS model? Is that transition already taking place?
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, indeed, it's slightly difficult to indeed go from a freemium to a paid subscription. But what we actually do is, let's say, quite smart in that sense that we generate already a lot of valuable data for those companies because they are listed on our platform. Potential customers from all over the world are looking to their products. And what we also have is we also show their prices, their list prices on our platform, but you need to log in to see those list prices. And based on that, end users log in and they also consent to give their contact details to those companies. So what we do is we have a lot of valuable data, and what we then do is reach out to those companies like KUKA Robotics or Fanuc, and we say, hey, this is a list of potential leads interested to talk. And a lot of those companies are always very eager to get some samples of data and also to talk with us to see, okay, what's in it. So grabbing their attention is quite efficient at this point.
I will have to stop this one. Short questions, even stronger answers, which is great, guys. You're confident in this, huh? And they're keen on asking questions, which is a good thing.
Yeah, definitely.
But there is one main question, and that question is, I think, posed by one of the presidents. Please, have a go.
So the question was, do you feel interested by this case? Are you interested in continuing the discussion? So raise your hand if you are.
Now we will have to count. 1, 2, 2 of them, the 2 ladies.
The woman, awesome.
Okay.
It's the female side of it.
Yeah.
All right.
We are not used to have a lot of females in our industry, so that's very good.
It's good. It makes you a bit stronger, huh? All right. You guys happy with the presentation, with the questions?
Definitely.
Okay.
Strong questions, so thank you for that.
Qviro, Sven and Jorg, thank you very much. Please, you can leave
Thank you very much.
that way.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.